Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Oh, the Illuminati. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, supporting subscribers. Welcome back to the channel. New supporters, welcome to the channel. If you have not hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Just waiting on you to hit the subscribe button. Let's get right into it. It's a story time. This story time is in high school where the teacher accused me of stealing his coat. So this story starts off literally my senior year of high school. And I can't remember exactly what month. I want to say it was like maybe April, maybe March of 2008. And what happened was I get to class, I just got out of my other class. You know how it is in high school. You're going to migrating from different class to different class. And I get to Mr. C class. That's what I'm calling Mr. C. So Mr. C is my math teacher. I see a piece of my hair, excuse me. Is my math teacher, literally, and we weren't always on the best of terms, okay? I don't know why. He didn't necessarily, I wasn't like his favorite student or someone that he actually was like, oh, I'm glad you came to class and stuff. No, that wasn't the case with him. So I get to class, I put my stuff down, and, he was already in a bad mood. I knew he was in a bad mood because how he looked at the class. He's like, and I was like, okay, something up. I told my classmate, like, by the way, he don't look like himself today, meaning like he didn't mentally want to be at the actual high school that I went to. And what happened was he gets into like this rant, and he's like, yo, I just lost my fiance. And some other things too. And, the class, has some empathy for him and stuff. Like, we're like, oh, we're sorry to hear your loss. And, I personally, I don't know what it was. I never did anything to him, like to a point where I, just, had hatred for him or anything. So what happens is, I get in class, he's like, who took my coat? You know what I'm saying? So, people looking around, class kind of got silent for a minute. People were joking about stuff for a minute, but it wasn't about that or the loss of his fiance. And, suddenly he comes and he gives me that eye. He gives me that look like, I think you stole my coat. And I'm like, I didn't steal your coat. You know what I'm saying? So then he kind of says, you know what, you can get on my class, and I was like, I didn't steal your coat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I come to class and try to steal your coat? Like, I'm here to learn, first off. Two, I don't even know what size coat you wear. You know what I'm saying? Like, people be like tripping, you know what I'm saying? And I understand that he was going through stuff. You know what I'm saying? I understand that, him almost losing his job too, by the way, as being a teacher at the school due to some of his activity that he shouldn't have been doing, meaning like he did some gambling and CD stuff on, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't steal his jacket, man, his coat, excuse me. I didn't steal his coat. And my classmate D, she tried to tell him, I'm so glad that I had someone like on my side. My other classmates were too, by the way. And he just was like, like, I don't believe nothing y'all say and stuff like that. So he's like, yeah, pack your bags, get out my class. Get out my class. I'm like, all right, I'm out. Dino, or D, maybe I'll just say D. D pretty much tried to tell him, like, look, it wasn't who you thought it was. What happened was, what I heard from D, D told me that literally there was a basketball game at, I don't know if it was at our school or the people that they were playing against school. They had mentioned that he actually went to the game and he got robbed. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what? Like, and you know what I'm saying? And, I guess maybe the person must have resembled me or something, but there's no way I would like want to steal a coat from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just it was most like, what? I stole a coat from you? So then, I ended up heading out to class and stuff. Some of my classmates were kind of like mad that he falsely accused me of stealing his coat. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And like the truth gonna come out anyway, you know what I'm saying? That's what I told him. Cause he said one thing to me, but it wasn't disrespectful, but it just like, I kind of was like, all right, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not coming back. So I go to my other teacher class, Miss J. Miss J lets me in, and she's like, hey, what are you doing in my class? I said, look, Miss J, look, I'm not trying to here to disturb your class or nothing like that, but if you let me come into this class, I'll be a little bit more comfortable. But she's like, well, you have to tell me what's going on in this math class. Miss J was my English teacher / yearbook teacher for my senior year. So I told her exactly what happened. I said, this man, Mr. C, is accusing me of stealing his coat. I just came to class trying to learn. I did not steal that man's coat. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, well, you need to go talk to the principal about this. I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Let me stay in this class for a minute. Let me kind of just like finish what I need to finish. Cause like I said, I was in that class to finish up probably a little bit some of the stuff I was doing for yearbook 2. But I told her, like, I'm not going to disrupt your class and like that. So, it was like the end of the day anyway. And I thought about it, say, you know what? I can't go back to that class like I should. You know what I'm saying? Like, not with just my other teacher's account. I need other people to tell about their experience. So one of my other homeboys that was an underclassman, me and him talked about it, you know what I'm saying, like the next day, because class ended up happening the next day. I went to the principal's office. The principal was not happy to see me. I can honestly say, I don't know, man. Me and the principal didn't have the best relationship, like, you know what I'm saying, student principal type of thing. But like when I told her what was going on, it was kind of like she was like so oblivious to it or just in denial about it when I told her what was going on in class. And I was like, look, I got proof. I got another classmate, even though he's an underclassman, telling me that what's going on in the class. And she's like, what are you trying to do? You trying to get him fired? Yeah, I'm trying to get him fired. You know what I'm saying? When I really think about it, I was like, yeah, I'm trying to get him fired. Like, the stuff he's doing, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? He falsely accused me, first off. You know what I'm saying? I let her know straight up. He falsely accused me of stealing his coat. I had nothing to do with stealing his coat. When I got to class, the coat was already stolen. That's what I told her straight up. I said the coat was already stolen. So how did I get to class miraculously, right? You know, in the back of my mind, how did I get there miraculously and the coat is already gone? You get what I'm saying? Like, it had to be somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, well, tell you what, I'll come back to the class with you and we're gonna work this out. Okay, yeah, you can come back to class with me so you can understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So she comes to class with me, my classmate that was the underclassman that had him as well, that was an 11th grader. Literally, he went back to his class. Me, I end up going to his class, and she's like, what's going on in this class? I can't believe you guys are trying to get rid of him and all this stuff. I'm the one that gave him an opportunity. Okay, you gave him an opportunity, so what? You know what I'm saying? We trying to tell you what's really going on, and you being defiant about it or oblivious to it. You know what I'm saying? So the class, there was some disruption amongst the class. You could tell that people weren't really happy, especially people that were seniors. You know what I'm saying? People that were seniors, they weren't happy with him still teaching. So what I did was I boycotted. You know what I'm saying? I did it in a respectful manner. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't stalking the principal or just like appearing, you know, every class and nothing like that. So what I would do was, until that situation got resolved, I was coming to that boy religiously, to her office, religiously, literally to let her know, like, this is still a problem. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to this class. I'm uncomfortable. The seniors are uncomfortable. The 11th graders are uncomfortable. This is not going to end until you do something about it. You know what I'm saying? So I was there religiously. I was going there every so often. People was like, yo, you spend so much time in there. I'm trying to get this situation solved, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to graduate. You know what I'm saying? This is my final year of high school. And you think I'm about to fail because of him? Absolutely not. So I would go, me and my homeboy would go, like, you know, together, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, people started to realize, and I remember one of my other classmates came with me too, by the way, and I guess she finally had that revelation or epiphany that something's definitely wrong. And eventually he did get fired right around, I'll say like maybe around the last part of the school year. We ended up getting another sub that was a way better understanding sub. She wanted to teach us math and everything. She was very understanding, considerate. You know what I'm saying? We end up getting a new teacher. So the moral of the story is, if something doesn't work, you gotta make it, you gotta figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And that was something that I learned. I said, you know what? I hate to be mean. I hate to go with this approach. And you know what I'm saying? It finally happened. I remember that day when the principal said, hey, we have a new math teacher for you. I understand that you guys weren't very happy, with Mr. C. So we got someone else for you. And hopefully this works out. We don't have to go through this again. And I could tell that she still was a little bit upset with me because they had prior history. Mr. C and our principal had prior history. They were friends. I understand that it's a frustrating position to have to fire a friend from a job that you and him had a friendship. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if he's not doing his job as a teacher, then he should personally go, if you honestly ask me. So, you know, it worked out. I stopped coming to her office, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, to this day, I know she still doesn't like me. I seen her a while back. And I can tell, man, that she still, you know, has some heart, maybe some hatred, or some just, you know, just mad at me for doing what I was supposed to do. We are the students at the school. We need to let you know what's going on at the school. You get what I'm saying? So the thing is, people were happy with the teacher that we had. I'm gonna call her Miss G. And literally, like I said, everyone graduated that were seniors, and the 11th graders were happy with the actual new replacement. So it did work out. Has this ever happened to you where you had to literally figure out a way to get a new teacher? What was your approach? Like I said, I was going to that office every single day. You know what I'm saying? Not every time period through class, but just like twice out of a day. That's what I was doing. But it's your boy Ill Blur Matic. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for rocking with me. Until next time, guys, have a great one. And I am out.